Happy Thursday, sixth grade. We're going to finish up our lesson in science class today and talk about saving the ecosystems. Okay, it says the people in the picture are cleaning up oil along the coast of Prince William Sound in Alaska. In 1989, large areas of the coast were covered with millions of gallons of oil that leaked um, from an oil tanker. So you got number one in your notes, guys, the year that it happened. Thousands of workers worked to help clean up the oil. For example, many of them scrubbed oil covered animals such as otters with soap and water. Oil was cleaned from the water and the rocks. You might think that the effort of these people is a great way to help save the environment. But even with the help of all the scientists and volunteers who worked to clean up the disaster, much of the damage could not be undone. As a result of the leak, 22 orca whales, 3,000 sea otters, 250,000 seabirds, 300 harbor seals, 250 bald eagles were among the billions of animals that died. More than $2 billion was spent to clean up the area. Number two in your notes. Today, oil from that spill still seeps up through the beaches. Many populations of plants and animals have not recovered. So, guys, obviously very devastating still around there today. Here's how bad it was. Here's what it is today. Obviously a major improvement, but can still happen. And yet, guys, I don't want you to believe in the doomsday. Yes, it's bad that this happened. One, it was an accident, but two, it still happens. But there was an oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico a couple years ago. One of the pipes on an oil rig burst, just spewed oil like crazy. And we thought, oh my goodness, everything is going to be ruined. And what we realized is there is literally organisms in the ocean that can digest the oil and break it back down. So it's not all bad. A lot of our driveways have oil spills on them from our vehicles, and you can literally go online and buy organisms that you put on the thing. They're microscopic, and they literally live off of oil. So they eat the oil, and then when there's no oil left to eat, they die. But in the end, they eat the oil stain away, supposedly. So interesting stuff. God is a genius in the things he does. Okay, let's look at a better thing. A better solution to problems such as the oil spill is to prevent them from happening in the first place. So, guys, better than clean up is to prevent them from happening in the first place. That's what we're going to focus on today. We always focus on, can we clean up our environment? Can we clean? Same thing. Guys, let's pick up the trash in our neighborhood. No, instead of picking up the trash, let's not put trash in the neighborhood, right? That's what's better. Let's prevent it and stop it from happening. One way we can help save the ecosystem is by understanding the effect that you have on the environment. Know that you can find ways to reduce the harm that you do. Okay, guys, let's read between the lines. What we talked about yesterday, we all do harm. Now, how can we reduce that? One step in preserving Earth's ecosystem is to use resources wisely. Conserve or save resources by reusing, recycling, or reducing your use of them. You can see some examples of ways to do this in the photos on this page. Conserving resources also reduces the needs for landfills. Okay, so number one, we got to have understanding, guys, up here, the effect that we have on them. First, I need to have my brain. Okay, then things that we can do. Let's learn to use these resources wisely. Reduce them, which means let's not use as much of it. How can I cut down on electricity? How can I cut down on the gasoline I use? Can I carpool? Things like that. How can we reuse that? This is an example of reusing it. Okay, so I'm going to take tires and then I'm going to grind them up and put them into the highways or noise barriers, or some of the playgrounds, guys, have that stuff, like the little rubber pellets from artificial turf and things like that. That's just a new use for it. Obviously, we know a lot about recycling. We recycle aluminum, we recycle plastic, we recycle paper. So we just run it through and make sure we can use that again. All really good things. Another way to help prevent harmful changes to the ecosystem is to simply be informed. Remember that all organisms have needs that must be met in order to survive and reproduce. Know how ecosystems work. Understand how all parts of an ecosystem, including humans, affect other parts. Be aware that if you change ecosystems, some organisms may not survive. Some might actually become extinct. So, number one, guys, be informed. What does it mean? I know that we're all connected. And too often, guys, the only person I think about is myself. So why do we have trash in the neighborhood? Because a person says, I don't want trash in my car, so I'm just going to throw it right out the window. I'm not thinking that that might be harmful to an animal, that might be harmful to the water supply, that might be, I don't think about those things. I'm too selfish, right? I got to get this thing. I got to understand I play a bigger role in this world. And then the next paragraph, let's learn to think long term. Explore ways that you as a citizen can become involved with keeping your environment healthy. For all of its organisms, for example, become a member of the local environmental group to start an environmental newsletter at your school or community. Know where to find accurate information about environmental issues. As an adult, you will need to make decisions that affect your community and other environments in your state, country, or even the world. If you learn to be informed citizens now, being a responsible adult will be easier later. Okay, guys, so that's the big push we're making. Think long term, but become informed and be careful with it. It's kind of interesting. In the last year, I've really looked into try to do the new energy, and it's amazing to me, like the wind power and the solar power, how that is not as great as I used to think it was. It's actually not that good of an energy source, and I like this statement here. We want to make improvements in our state and our country and even the world, but it's so hard to make changes in the world, guys. A year or two ago, President Trump caught some grief because he pulled us out of the Paris Treaty, which was, oh my goodness, now the world's going to burn down. But what President Trump did is he said, hey, I don't want America to be making all these changes to try to reduce pollution if none of the other countries in the world are going to do that. For example, China produces way more pollution we do and has way less rules than we do. And so what he was saying is, hey, I'm trying to put rules on the businesses. Now, if I say a business has to follow more rules, it's going to cost that business more money. But if China's not doing the same thing, then China's going to be able to build products cheaper, and it's going to hurt the American company that is trying to follow rules. And so this is one big thing that, hey, as a world, we need to do better. But if as a world we're not, and we're only a few countries are doing it, sometimes that's, I don't know what the right word is, mean to the one country who's trying to do it. America is doing really good, guys, as far as trying to reduce its pollution on the world and being a better place. And what we really need is we need other countries to join in on us. And a lot of these other countries just aren't. They're just doing their own thing, and they say, dude, we're making money now. Who cares? And so let's make sure we understand that to do those things later. Okay. This is going to give you the rest of your notes. Now I got to see if I can get this in here. I think this is what I need to get it down to. I think if I open this, I'll be able to slide it to the side here. That's fun. Okay, I covered up your notes, guys. So I'll try to just click back and forth to the science notes. So you're down here. We're going to learn what hibernation is and the difference between those things here. Okay, you just got your extra credit. Your extra credit was Bauer had to open up a website to get to the hibernation thing. So just right in there, had to download more pictures. I don't care what you write down. Something that says, hey, you had to fight through this. Okay, guys, here comes the big thing. I hinted at this last week, and now you're getting the thing. Some species have adapted to living through a cold season in their environment by hibernating. Hibernation is a period of inactivity when an organism needs much less energy. The organism's heart rate, temperature, and other body processes drop significantly. Some people believe bears hibernate. That's not accurate, guys. Bears have a period of inactivity. That's called torpor. During this, which their bodies slow down, but not as much as it does in a hibernating animal's body. Another difference between hibernation and torpor is that a bear can quickly be roused from its sleep, while a hibernating animal cannot. A hummingbird's normal body activity uses a lot of energy. In order to conserve energy while not gathering food, a hummingbird can become torpid just overnight. The chart below shows a comparison of the heart rate, the body temperature for some animals that hibernate and some that go into a state of torpor. So hibernation, guys, he's normally at 98 degrees. He drops all the way down to 38 degrees. We are not wasting any energy heating our body. Okay, so if I'm outside in the winter and it's 20 degrees outside, my body's running at 38. But if I'm inside my nest, the nest is normally going to be about 40 degrees. So it's taking no energy to keep me at my body temperature. Normally, the woodchuck's heart is beating at 40. It's down to 4. So you can just see this huge drop off, guys. Same with the ground squirrel. Normally it's running at 100 degrees, way down to 35. Normally 150, way down to 5. That's hibernation. You come across these animals hibernating in the middle of winter, you cannot wake them up. Okay, here are your bears. Normally we're running at near 100 degrees. We drop down in the 90s. That is 8 degrees. This is 4 degrees. Normally I'm running at 55. Do I drop down, black bear? You bet. That's a big drop, guys. Can I be woken up from this? Yes, I can. Okay, polar bear, not as much of a drop. What they were talking about with the hummingbird is these guys can do this stuff overnight, guys. I'm awake, I'm cruising around at 105. At night, I can drop down to 66. I'm awake, I'm flying at 250 beats per minute. At night, boom, I can drop a huge range depending on how torpid it becomes. Okay? So back to your little notes here, guys. Hibernation is a period of inactivity. Organism needs much less energy. Torpor, body processes simply slow down. So then I gave you huge drop in temperature, heart rate, and can't be woken up. It usually takes a longer period. Example, I'm hibernating all winter. Torpor, smaller drops in temperature and heart rate, you can be woken up, and it can be for a shorter period of time. So guys, I wrote down a bear goes into torpor. Maybe you want to put the hummingbird here because a hummingbird can go overnight. Bears usually go into torpor all winter long too, guys, but torpor can be just an overnight period. C, bears don't hibernate. Okay, make sure you understand that as we get a little further. Some of you would say, well, why do teachers tell us that bears can hibernate when we're young? I don't want to say they got it wrong. I just want to say when you're in kindergarten and you're trying to teach us what hibernation is, bear is an example that is easy to think of. Because bears are an example of very close to hibernating when you get they sleep through the winter. And so when I'm teaching a kindergartner what hibernation is, I said it's like not doing anything all winter long. It's like you sleep all winter. Like bears, they sleep all winter. Okay, but we can wake up a bear, guys. And so science just kind of says there's actually 2 different levels of hibernating, the definition of hibernating and then the not so much one. Okay, but now you know. Most of you believe that bears hibernate, and I'm going to be worried for you on your worksheet and on your test if we ask you those questions because you might not have listened to the video and read these last pages, but this is really important. It's so important you should maybe circle this for extra credit. Big game changer in your life. Bears don't hibernate. All right, guys, you got done with the assignment, gets you done with the worksheet, brings you to the end of the chapter. Good luck on your big test tomorrow. As far as your test is concerned, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I don't have a video posted for Friday that give you any directions because you know what you're doing. There's a few chances for extra credit. My biggest encouragement to you, do the extra credit. 2 minutes switches a grade from a B to an A. Who knows, right? Take your time to get those things. Have a great day.